Hey everyone, here's another Comic Clerks video, and I'm here to talk to you about Gotham. And you know this video will contain spoilers, so I'm just letting you guys know beforehand. Alright, so this episode was Mommy's Little Monster, and we start this episode with Penguin and Butch at the warehouse his mother is supposed to be in. And he tells Butch after they get his mother, they'll be going after Theo and his sister. They have to pay for what they did. And I agree with this. You know, Penguin's my boy, man. You don't mess with him right now. He is not playing. He's on a warpath. So Penguin finds the cell his mother is locked in and tries to get her out when Theo and Tabitha show up, and he tells Butch to shoot him. You know, but Butch shoots the other guys that are with them, and Penguin is wondering what's going on. And Butch tells him that he's been fixed. And it looks like Tabitha and Butch had a few rounds together, you know, to fix him. This is when Penguin begs Theo to release his mother. He tells him to kill him, but release her. And I'm feeling bad for my boy right about now, man. Poor Penguin, man. I don't know what I would do if this happened to me. So I'm feeling him right now. So if any of you guys got mothers that, you know, you do this for, if she got kidnapped, you know, just, you know what I'm feeling right now. So he gets on his knees and pleads, and this is when Theo tells Tabitha, you know, to let her go. She still has the mayor to play with. This is when Penguin and his mother are reunited for a second because Tabitha decides to stab her in the back. So Penguin, you know, apologizes to his mother, asks for forgiveness as she passes, and I'm so heated, man. I'm so heated after that happened. I was like, man, they just play so dirty. And so Theo, you know, tells Butch to kill, you know, Penguin. And this is when Penguin yells at Theo that he's a coward and can't finish him off himself. So Theo walks back in and points the gun at Penguin and asks him if he has any last words. And Penguin tells Theo, you know, that he's going to kill him, pulls the knife out of his mother's back, and stabs Theo in the neck and makes his escape. So I'm like, I'm rooting for him, man. My boy Penguin's hobbling out of there. He hops out the window. He booked it. He got him good and dipped out. But man, that was just the opening, you know, credit. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So, you know, they got me in the edge of the seat already. And it hasn't even really started yet. So we get with Nygma. You know, he's waking up from the night he had. And it looks like his alter ego is back. And looks like Kristen is gone also. And his alter ego asks him, does he like magic tricks? You know, answering the question for him with a chorus because, you know, they're the same. And, you know, Kristen's body is gone and there's a riddle on the bed. And he asks his alter ego, you know, where's Kristen? And he tells him, no, he has to open the riddle. So the alter has given him a riddle that implies that he took Kristen to the GCPD and hid her. Nygma is arguing with his alter about how he can't take control of him, and his alter believes this is uncalled for, and Nygma is upset that his body was hijacked and that his dead girlfriend was stolen. How about we get to the point where your dead girlfriend's at your work and somebody might find them before you do? So the alter believes, you know, he's doing it for their own good, and Nygma better get to work before someone else finds the body. So we cut to Theo and Tabitha. You know, I'm hating them right now after what they did to Penguin. So they're watching the news about him winning the mayor candidacy in a landslide. And this is when Silver walks in and asks, you know, to go to the victory party. You know, Theo tells them that there'll be time for, you know, parties, you know, and all that after Bruce signs over his company and has met his demise. Theo tells Silver that he wants no one else's in Bruce's ear, just Silver. And Silver tells him, that Bruce is wrapped around her little finger. And I'm like, ugh, somebody, help him. So Theo congratulates her for becoming a vixen. He's so proud. And Theo knows he has to deal with Penguin. And Tabitha says she'll take care of him. And he tells her don't worry about it because, they'll have the whole GCPD at their disposal soon. So at the GCPD, Harvey is congratulating Jim on backing Theo. He backed the winner, all that stuff. And he asks Jim, does he trust him? And Jim doesn't trust the politician as far as he can throw him. Jim tells Harvey, what Selena told him about Penguin setting the fires. And Jim says it doesn't make sense. The assassinations and the fires just doesn't fit Penguin at all. This is when Theo and Dent come in and the captain comes and tells them that Penguin attacked the mayor. Theo explains to them that Penguin came to him seeking an alliance and he declined. That's when Penguin attacked them. This is when Jim and Harvey are punching holes in, all Theo's story because, they know Penguin. They know that doesn't even sound like him. So this is when, Harvey Dent gives the captain a warrant for Penguin's arrest and search and seizure for all his properties and associate. Also, the judge declared a state of emergency, and Theo is instating a curfew when he becomes mayor, and the task force will be going door to door to search for Penguin. Theo says Jim seems hesitant, and Jim tells him he's just cautious. Jim believes they should police through fear. They shouldn't police through fear, and that the people should still feel safe. This is when Theo reminds him, that Jim came to him to get results, and I'm like, well, first you came to him to even put the idea in his head. So you really came to him first. Alright, so we're not supposed to, punch holes into that. We're just supposed to keep watching. So we find Selena, and she's walking into Wayne Manor, and Bruce asks her what she's got against the front door. And, she's upset with Alfred, so that's her problem with the front door. And Selena tries to explain to Bruce about her week with Bridget, but Bruce is trying to tell her something when she notices a pocketbook and asks whose it is. This is when this Silver, the little conniving little, decides to walk in, and Bruce introduces them, and Silver asks Selena to stay for lunch and tells Bruce to go tell Alfred to set another plate. This is when Silver switches into the evil little thing she is and threatens Selena, calling her gutter trash. I'm like, man, hit her, Selena, hit her. But she didn't do that. Selena didn't hit her. They knocked the crap out of her. This is when Bruce comes back in and asks what they're talking about. And Silver says just girl stuff. And I'm like, hit her, Selena. Just cold clock her one good time and be done with. So we get back to the GCPD. And Nygma is trying to figure out, his alternate riddle. And he figures out, that the initials for his girlfriend go to the snack machine. And he finds her hand stuck in there. Which is... gosh, his alter ego is a sick person. With the snacks. Why'd it have to be with the snacks, man? That's just... I think they were called finger snacks or something that went along with the hand. It's just, Alright, so we get, with Tabitha and Theo, and she believes that she needs to go after Penguin, but Theo has already a plan to draw out Penguin. So we see the plan is that Theo gets on the news and is given a statement that Penguin, Penguin is watching this and says people like him won't be tolerated, and he said that those are the people that not even the mother would love. And I was like, man, those are fighting words. Lit the fire in Penguin. And Penguin is like, he smashes the TV, declaring that, Theo's gonna die tonight. Alright, so at the GCPD, Harvey has some info on the crew that parted ways from Penguin. This is when Leslie walks up and gives Jim his keys, and he notices that there's an extra on there, and she tells them that it's her key. So this is when Harvey decides to make his exit, and Jim tries to not to say the wrong thing, while Leslie is enjoying making him dance, and all the key is for her so that she doesn't have to get up at 2:30 in the morning to let him in when he's coming back from his stakeout and smelling like chili dogs. You know, Harvey's favorite stakeout food, as we all know. So at the Wayne Manor, you know, Alfred is serving, I don't know what he's serving, looks like tea or something like that. You know, Silver's trying to kiss up to him, and Selena makes a jab at him about slapping her in the face. And Silver tries to make nice with Selena, and I'm like, you conniving little... This is when Selena loses it and tells her off. And this is when Silver leaves and Bruce yells at her and tells, you know, she tells her, you know, why'd she do that? And she tells him that she's just trying to help. And he tells her to leave and insults her on being his friend. And I'm really upset about this. I'm tired of Selena getting dissed by Alfred, you know, by Bruce. Bruce, your hormones is out of whack. Chill out, man. You need to chill. So with Nygma, he is studying their hand, and it looks like the alternate has placed a message into the hand. And he wants to know why his alternate is doing this, and the alternate is telling him that it's fun and it's good for him. So his alternate tells him that he's trying to show him how he really is. This is when Nygma figures out the riddle, and that his dead girlfriend is in the morgue. This is when we get to Jim and Harvey, and you know, they drive up to the crew's place of operation and sit outside. And Jim is still thinking about the Theo and Penguin thing and how it all just doesn't make sense. And he thinks something is fishy about it. So, you know, Harvey is trying to get Jim's head into the game because they got to go in here. So they head in, and it looks like Butch is there. Looks like Butch is loading up on firepower because you know what he did. We know why he's loading up. Jim asks him where Penguin is, and Butch tells him he doesn't know. Harvey insults him on being Penguin's lapdog, and Butch tells him that he's not the dog no more. And Jim tells him to prove it by telling him what Penguin is up to. And Butch laughs and tells him that he's not telling them anything. And since they don't have the warrant, they want him to leave. And Jim tells him, you know, that the mayor has put this new thing into effect, that he wants all the associates of Penguin brought in. And so, you know, he's going to go to jail either way, so he might as well talk. So this is when Zaz shows up and tells them, you know, that they're there for Butch. Anyone else there will leave, just leave, and they won't be harmed. All they're there for is Butch. Butch colleagues, they dip out. They're out of there. They ain't messing with Zaz. Nobody wants to mess with Zaz. Nobody's on that. But Jim and Harvey, you know, they decide to threaten Butch, and they tell him they might as well leave him to Zaz since he won't tell him anything. So Butch tells them about, that Theo orchestrated it all, had Penguin doing his dirt for him because, Theo had Penguin's mother, and he tells them that he didn't think Theo would go through with it, and Jim wants to know go through with what. This is when Zaz starts shooting. Zaz starts lining up the place, and Jim and Harvey take cover, so they're trying to, get fire back, try to lay down something. This is when they decide to use the firepower Butch decided he was going to have and just light the street up. So Zaz is telling them, okay, they'll come back for him for another time. So he's out of there. He's not playing that right there. This is when it looks like Butch has escaped through all the commotion and stuff because he slipped out of the cuffs that his hand was in. So we go to Theo, and looks like Bruce has shown up looking for Silver, and tells Theo about what happened, at his house. And Theo flatters Bruce, some more praising him on what his father, had taught him. And Theo, starts to compare the two and gives Bruce advice, leaving Bruce hanging for more, He just is craving this attention, man. And I'm like, why are you being dragged in so easily? I know you're just a kid, but you gotta be suspicious of some stuff. You are Bruce Wayne. Not everybody's trying to be your friend. So, this is when Silver shows up and, she tells Bruce she knew he'd come. So we get back, to Penguin, and he's getting ready to take out Theo. And, his guys tell him that, he shouldn't be the one to take him out. They should take him out because all the cops are looking for him. So he tells them, no, Theo is his, no one else's. Alright, so at the GCPD, the captain is telling them that they'll be protecting the mayor at his party. And this is when Jim gives them a pep talk, telling them to be ready for anything. So at the party, Jim is making sure everything is going okay. Harvey comes in and tells them, that Penguin's mother has been missing for 2 weeks. And Jim puts 2 and 2 together that Penguin's mother is dead. This is when Theo is introduced as the mayor and everyone just starts celebrating. So back at the GCPD, Nygma has found Kristen's body. And this is when Leslie finds him. So he tries to make up an excuse to get her away from the body. And he finally tells her that him and Kristen had a fight and he came in there to talk to her to get some advice. Good job, Nygma. You gave her a clue while sending her away. So that wasn't that smart of you, because I'm sure when they find out she's missing, that's going to come up. Alright, so at the party, Theo comes and asks Jim about the shootout with Butch, asking if he got anything out of him. Jim tells him that he didn't get nothing out of him. This is when Jim is radioed by Martinez that a group of men are coming towards the party. Jim tells him to hold his fire, but someone fires a shot anyway, hitting one of the group. And Martinez says, they have another shooter up there, and it looks like it's a group dressed up as penguins. So Jim tells Martinez to find the other shooter and Penguin, and Jim tells them all to engage. And this is when the penguins break into the party, start shooting, and I'm like, you guys don't have to keep up the act anymore. They're still waddling in there, shooting at people. I'm like, you guys don't have to waddle. Maybe their feet were tired or something to walk like that, but I'm like, come on, y'all. Y'all are putting yourself at a real disadvantage waddling in like that. Alright, so this is when we see, Martinez finds Tabitha on the roof, and she distracts him and kills him, man. He just became part of that task force, and, they're just dropping like flies. They can't get a hang of it. So we get back into the party, and Jim and Harvey are trying to get Theo out of the house. And Penguin picks up a radio and is telling them, where Jim is taking Theo. Him and Jim have a standoff, and Penguin tells him he doesn't know who he's protecting. This is when Theo is whispering in Jim's ear to shoot Penguin. And I'm like, So Penguin tells him, that Theo killed his mother. Jim tells him he just knows. Theo's kind of surprised about that. So Theo starts yelling at Jim to put Penguin down. And Penguin is telling him that, that watching his mother die changed him. This is when Harvey shows up and has a gun on Penguin. And Penguin is like, he ain't putting his gun down. So they tell him they don't want to shoot him. And Penguin tells them, someone's going to die tonight. It's going to be him or Theo. So he tells Jim that if he dies, he won't know Theo's endgame, and that he's after somebody that Jim cares about. Penguin then gets shot, looks like Tabitha's still on the roof, and he hops into the getaway car and drives away with Jim and Harvey shooting at the car. So inside, they go back inside the mayor's house, And so they go back inside the mayor's house, and Harvey is telling him Penguin won't make it out of the city, and Jim tells them he won't be leaving the city. He won't be leaving the city at all because he's gonna get Theo. He's not playing about that. He wants Theo. So Jim is really upset about all the people they lost tonight. And we see, Theo giving a statement, about emerging stronger for what just happened and bringing about a new day in Gotham. And Bruce and Silver are watching this on TV. And where Silver is talking to Bruce about not coming between him and Selena, and Bruce tells her that she won't, that that he doesn't that Silver won't come between him and Selena. And Silver tells him that Selena will never like her, and Bruce says that he doesn't care. And this is when Silver plants a kiss on Bruce, and I'm like, your blood is not in your brain right now because you are not thinking at all. Your hormones is all out of whack. Shape up, man. Shape up. So we also see, Selena's watching through the window, and she's not happy about that at all. And I'm wanting her to go down there and clock the mess out of this girl, but that's not happening. So we get with Jim and Theo, and Jim decides to call Theo out, telling him that he's coming after him, and Theo is like, you're threatening the mayor and all this, Jim tells him desperate times call for desperate measures. And I'm wondering why he went and did this. I'm like, we could have, operated from the shadows a little bit. Why'd you come and tell him straight up that you were going to come after him? Now he knows you're coming for him and is going to be planning for you to come for him when you could have caught him by surprise. So I wasn't really happy about that. So we get back to the GCPD, and Nygma is, starts to talk to his alternate about why he did what he did. And his alternate wants him to know it was all about not being caught and that it felt good. And, him and his alternate seem to come to, like, an understanding. And they start to, like, merge together and all this. And this is when we see Nygma, he picks up an electric saw, and starts laughing. Alright, you guys, so that was the end of this episode. As you see, I really enjoyed this episode. If you can't see, Penguin is one of my favorite characters. Penguin and Selena are a couple of my favorite characters. I can't wait for next week's episodes. Tell me what you liked in this episode and what you didn't like in this episode. Leave it in the comments below, you guys. Alright, have a good day.